What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Hero or Zero here on the Heroes for Hire podcast. My name is Seán Meehan, and joining me as always is my best pal, Mr. Conor Lawler.
Hey, best pal, what's going on?
I'm good. How are you, Conor?
You had a look of fear that I was going to shut you down.
Yeah. What if he's not my best pal, I wonder, every day of my life?
What if I throw this to him and he says, fuck off?
Yeah, he just hangs up. He hangs up the Google Meet, everybody.
Seán, I am very, very good. I am very excited for another week of Hero Zero. And you know why I'm so excited about this week?
Go ahead. Explain.
I'm so excited about this week because a few weeks ago, you did a report and you mentioned a character called Psylocke.
Yeah.
And then last week, we were unable to record Hero Zero, and so you said, what I'll do is we'll do Psylocke next week and I'll cover her. Which
I did say that, didn't I?
I remember you saying it, and then I did was I put it out with a tweet. Because
you committed it to the internet.
I committed to it, and what I've done cleverly is because Psylocke, as we discussed in the previous report, is an absolutely insane character to kind of cover, and I'm really looking forward to this. So, Seán, I mean, how are you feeling more so?
This, and I'm not going to pull any punches here, this broke me. It was when I got to 21 pages that I had to change tact on what I was going to do for this character, Conor. Usually, for reference, my reports are 6 to 7 pages, powers included.
Yeah, and like, what's so funny about this is that, like, we would actively, like, there's characters that we don't really want to touch because we know how fucked they are, right? And there's a few in DC that I'm like, I'd love to talk about them, but then there's a whole bunch of stuff I'd have to cover. And by the time I did all the foundation, we'd already be at like 45 minutes. And then you're just kind of like, okay, well, geez, this isn't really a report. It's so long. So, Seán, I'm excited. How are you going to try and structure this character that is clearly broken into a report that makes sense?
So, what I've elected to do is, I've got some talking points. It's what I know about the character. I've got all the research in my head. We're just going to kind of go through it and discuss it. And I won't be so much presenting information as we'll be having a chat about it. Is the only way I can fathom doing this.
I refuse to interact with you.
That's absolutely fine. For reference, this story starts in another dimension.
Please, everyone, I'm going to tell you right now, because you give it a like and subscribe before we do this episode, or a like and follow, or whatever it works, maybe a 5-star, maybe a comment. I love a comment. But if you
sympathy, please.
Just before we attempt this, because Seán has a look on his face that I've never seen before. It's just this. We all need to buckle in because this is going to be batshit. This character. We've covered some bad ones, but Seán, I'm excited. You have the floor.
Excellent. So the first thing to know about Psylocke is that her first iteration starts with a lady called Betsy Braddock. Betsy Braddock is the sister of Brian Braddock. Brian Braddock is Captain Britain. So they were part of Marvel's kind of UK imprint. And it was the answer to Captain America, basically. Their father is from another dimension called Otherworld, which is the British Isles, but magic. He was sent by Merlin, the wizard, to Earth 616. The Tooch himself from Transformers, that Transformers movie. And he was sent to Earth to father the champion that would become known as Captain Britain. So here's the thing, is that Brian Braddock and Betsy Braddock are twins. So originally, Brian goes on to become Captain Britain, as we all know. And Betsy, what she does is she actually becomes a commercial pilot. And that's her. She just pops up in Captain Britain stories every so often. She ended up getting really popular with fans. Like, she would have little adventures of her own, help Brian with more like on the ground stuff.
Ironically,
Yeah, oh yeah. Like, considering they can both fly or in a plane.
She refused to get in the air. Brian's like, I really need a jet. No, Brian, she said.
So when she was a teenager, she went to New York to pursue a modelling career. This is where her latent mutant powers activated. So Betsy Braddock is actually a mutant, and she has telepathic abilities. One of the standard mutant powers, I think you'll agree.
Perfectly normal, Seán. That's really easy to keep up with so far. I'm kind of with you.
So she seemed not to be able to fully access her powers even until she was an early adult. Like, she could do it, but it wasn't. She had no training. She wasn't really focused on it. It was just something she happened to be able to do. Brian and Betsy's parents were killed in an explosion by a computer called Mastermind, who turned bad and exploded things. That's not important. Soon after, Brian took up the mantle properly of Captain Britain. Then the Captain Britain adventures happened. Betsy was a pilot. It was all going great. Then an evil Captain Britain came in called Kaptainbriton. Evil Captain Britain. It's Brian from another dimension, but he's evil. He's a real bad dude.
Did they just spell Captain with a K?
Yeah, that's what makes him evil. Horrendous.
Amazing.
So, and Brian was defeated, killed by this Captain Britain. Evil Captain Britain was in turn defeated, and by wearing evil Captain Britain's costume, Betsy had her strength magnified and was able to fly, and became, because she was so popular with readers, she became the new Captain Britain.
So they just killed off Brian just to give it to her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. So eventually, of course, Betsy undergoes training with Captain UK, who's like a US agent for Captain Britain, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay.
This is a Psylocke report, by the way.
It's just, yeah, but okay. Right, I'm with you still.
So she got training in crime fighting, hand-to-hand combat, all that kind of thing, while learning to be the full-fledged Captain Britain. And eventually took it on as her solo career. Soon after, Brian returned to life, came back, didn't take up the mantle of Captain Britain again, left that to Betsy. She had it under control. Betsy was lured into an ambush where a character called Slaymaster brutally blinded her. So just cut the fuck out of her eyes. Completely blinded Betsy Braddock.
First of all, by the way, Slaymaster, great name.
Fucking lethal name. So
a
good.
Lethal name, that's amazing.
So Betsy is blinded at this point. Brian Braddock feels his twin's pain because they share a psychic bond.
Of course.
And comes to Betsy's rescue, kills Slaymaster, and takes up the Captain Britain mantle again.
I think he hired Slaymaster. Look, all I'm saying is he wanted it back. Like, he's thinking to himself, well, I just need the blinder, and then I'll be like, oh, I'll take it, don't worry. You just have a sit down.
So Betsy was offered new cybernetic eyes by a tech company called RCX, but she preferred to rely on her telepathy to see. So she just was just like, no, my psychic abilities let me get around fine. I don't need these robot eyes. That's all fine. She accepted her partner Gabriel's proposal of marriage, and the engaged couple travelled to the Swiss Alps, where they hoped she could recuperate in peace, Conor.
This is lovely. You know what, actually, she's been through a very difficult time, and I actually think sometimes you need a bit of time away to recuperate, and maybe she'll come out as a better person, but maybe she'll be happier inwardly as well.
Unfortunately, Betsy was kidnapped from the Alps by Mojo. Now,
Mojo Jojo?
No, this is the time where I introduced the Mojo-verse, Conor. So, the Mojo-verse. It's horrendous. It's so dumb. Just the Mojo-verse.
Okay, come on.
And this is like 80s, 90s kind of time. Late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
So, the Mojo-verse is a universe in Marvel Comics. Character called Mojo lords over it. And it's basically... It's all about entertainment. and producing entertainment is what the Mojoverse is.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Mojo is like the ultimate producer who's just always hustling for the next big thing, right? It's like a Truman Show X Factor universe.
Okay.
Where everything is content. Everything is media. That's the most important thing.
like nowadays.
Fucking future of things to come.
Mojo
right?
fit in right now, lads.
So Mojo kidnaps Betsy Braddock with the aid of Spiral, who's just one of his assistants, and surgically gives her artificial eyes. Okay? So
that seems like a pretty good deal so far.
Mentally controls her.
Oh, okay.
Renames her Psylocke. And then has her star in his popular new show called The Wild Ways. So he just starts a TV show with Psylocke in it, and she's the main character, and he gives her new eyes. Because he's obsessed with media and content, Conor.
He's doing it for the TikTok.
He's doing it for the Vine.
He's doing it for the Vine.
So he used Psylocke to lure children around the world into joining his team, the Brat Pack, where he would raise future stars.
Of course.
When Mojo captured some of the New Mutants, which are the young team of X-Men mutant characters, students from Xavier's School of Gifted Youngsters arrived to save their teammates, basically. While there, they found Betsy Braddock and they were like, hey, you're a mutant.
Yeah.
Come with us.
Yeah. And so, she's like, hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. No, she's still saying at this point, they're still controlled.
No longer controlled, I would say to you.
But still can't stop doing the jazz hands, just as an offshoot.
It's a side effect, basically. Yeah. So she is rescued by Cypher and Warlock, who are X-Men. She chose to stay at Xavier's since her powers were mutant in origin. It's at this point that her bionic eyes were revealed to be cameras, Conor. And Mojo regressed the X-Men to X-babies to film their adventures through her eyes.
Of course he did. Mojo is a fucking madman.
So then Betsy Braddock, Psylocke, and the New Mutants, the team of teenagers that rescued her, battled the de-aged baby X-Men to break them free and defeat Mojo.
Wait, they battled them? As in, like, they kicked the shit out of the baby?
Cyclops could still shoot Cyclops lasers. Wolverine still had claws. They're just... It's Tiny Toon Adventures, but X-Men.
Oh, this is going to sell thousands and millions of comics, I can only assume.
Did really well.
Hundreds,
Still going to this day, in fact. All that to say, Betsy Braddock is now called Psylocke and lives with the X-Men.
Okay, so that's how she got the name Psylocke, because she went to the Mojo universe, came back with Cyclops, or with robotic eyes, and then all the X-Men were turned into babies, and then they all fought, and then eventually they overcame Mojo and the Mojo universe, and now we just have a character that's called Psylocke, and called Psylocke, and she exists, and she doesn't have robotic eyes anymore.
Still has robotic eyes. Also, and I feel like this shouldn't have to be said, still a white British woman at this point.
Okay, good.
Then, let me introduce you to a feature in X-Men comics called The Siege Perilous, Conor. Now, The Siege Perilous, gotta take you back to Arthurian legend for this one, is that The Siege Perilous was a special chair that was at the round table of King Arthur's court, which was reserved for the knight that would discover the Holy Grail. They would get to sit in the Siege Perilous.
Oh, you don't need to tell me, Sean. I'm already with you.
The Siege Perilous in X-Men comics is a retcon device, basically. It was gifted to the X-Men as a way, if they ever got tired of superheroics and their life as it was at the minute, they could step through it and end up somewhere else and basically start a new life. Okay?
That is genuinely the worst, stupidest storyline.
So dumb. I think it's destroyed now, but...
What if we took all your heroic attributes and maybe you just said, fuck it, we'll just let the people die and then just go to the Caribbean? What about that?
If you were just like, no, I'm done now, I've had enough, basically. So, Psylocke steps through the siege. I think she might be accidentally forced through it, is how it ends up.
Mojo pushed her,
classic. But Psylocke emerges on an island in the South China Sea. So
I know what's coming, and I have no idea how you're going to get there, but go on.
Amnesiac. Doesn't remember who she is, right?
Right.
She is captured by the Hand, a ninja organization in Marvel Comics. She is captured by Matsuo Tsurayaba, whose lover / lady he was infatuated with, named Quanon, was currently comatose. Now, Quanon, here's where we get into Quanon, Connor. One of the Hand's top assassins. Okay.
Oh, well, obviously. It's basically Batman, Superman, Quanon.
Absolutely. Expert in blades, stealth, doing knives. All of these things she's really, really good at. Also, key to comics in the early 90s, very sexy, scantily clad lady.
You couldn't not be.
You couldn't. It's the only way to be in the 90s.
It's the only way. It was the 90s. It was a different time.
So Quanon was injured and comatose, and so Matsuo was like, "I'm gonna fix this." Okay.
You're also doing a very good job not saying QAnon every time you say Quanon, just to let you know.
It's actually Connor. I don't deserve any praise. It's spelled KWANNON.
Of course it is. Oh, fucking course it is. Go on.
So he.
Can I just ask one question? Is Quanon's outfit the Psylocke outfit that she wears? But yes, Sean, how will they get Quanon's outfit onto Captain Britain?
Well, here is the thing, right? In that, so Psylocke is Betsy at the minute. Quanon is Quanon.
Yeah.
Now, originally, the way it was written originally is that the Hand just kidnapped Betsy, gave her plastic surgery, and then brainwashed her, made her an agent of the Hand. They gave her Asian features so that she would fit in better and not bring suspicion, which is bullshit, but also fucking much better than whatever came up, because the guy who wrote for Psylocke after this did not read this story, and he just incorporated a whole bunch of shit. So what happens is they do a mind / body swap where Betsy Braddock's mind.
Go back. How did they get to that bit?
Because she washes up amnesiac on the shore. Quanon is in a coma. They use the Hand. I think Spiral is involved from the Mojo verse, and also the Mandarin uses some of his ring power to do.
I knew
this.
The Mandarin would be involved somewhere along the line.
Because it gets better. So,
go on.
They do the swap. Betsy Braddock is left in the comatose body, whereas Quanon is put into Betsy's body, who is going by Psylocke. Their memories fuse, and so
she still looks like Betsy, surely.
See, this is the thing, okay? Yeah. In that the Quanon wakes, so Betsy's body is now the comatose. Because the mind,
that's not how mind swaps work.
No, the mind is comatose, and so the mind went into Betsy's body. So now Betsy's body is comatose. Quanon is fine, but Quanon is now Betsy, who is Psylocke, who doesn't remember who she is.
Wait, so they did a mind swap?
Yeah,
but the way they did it was when the body that was in the coma woke up, and the other body went into a coma instead.
The problem is Quanon's brain, and this doesn't make sense, but it's her mind is the problem. The body is fine, well able to work.
Surely
it's just the brain
it
can't
makes
do it.
10 million times more sense to have them swap bodies, and then Betsy's stuck in the coma, and Quanon has Betsy's body.
That's the thing, and Betsy is stuck in the coma.
No, I mean her mind is in Quanon's body and Quanon's mind is in Betsy's body, makes a much cleaner swap.
Oh yeah, that's the way you would do it.
That's the way that's the way anyone would do it.
But no, Betsy Braddock is now in Betsy Braddock's mind, but she doesn't know she's Betsy Braddock, is the thing. So she is now in Quanon's body. Also, some of Quanon's memories and skills are still up there, so they just merge together. So now she's and then now she's Lady Mandarin is what she goes by. She is the Mandarin's top assassin and works for the Hand and the Mandarin. And this is one of the worst things in comics. So
I'm so glad that we bullied you into doing this.
I am so mad at this. Can you see why I didn't do it in my usual report? Because this is insane.
But listeners and the patrons as well, just let's all huddle in. We've done it. Yeah. We've broken him. This is fantastic.
I'm not even halfway through.
We're 21 minutes in, Seán.
I know. I'm well aware. So what you mainly need to know now is that the person in Marvel Comics operating as Psylocke looks as you think Psylocke looks. Like, it's the default Psylocke, Asian assassin, that whole vibe. That's what we have going here, right?
Right.
But it's a mix of Betsy's personality and Quanon's personality.
But she looks like Quanon.
She looks like Quanon. But for the sake of simplicity, we're going to say that's Betsy's mind. Just to make
Betsy's
it easier.
mind, Quanon's body.
Yes.
Okay.
But brainwashed.
Okay.
I had you for a second.
So Quanon's body, Betsy's mind, but Betsy is brainwashed into thinking that she's Quanon.
Operating as Lady Mandarin, yes.
Operating as Lady Mandarin, and the Mandarin thinks Lady Mandarin is Quanon.
Yes, but he knows who she really is. Let's not get into what he fucking thinks about it.
Okay.
So, basically, in Hong Kong, she is very clearly Japanese, and they call her Lady Mandarin, which is Chinese. Yeah. That's a whole problem that
the
they
90s.
did.
She's dressed sexy.
But this is also where she gets her psychic knives that Psylocke is now famous for. That's her main move. So then there is an attack against the Hand. Wolverine is involved. Lady Mandarin stabs Wolverine in the brain with her psychic knives, thereby making psychic contact, remembering that she is... and the Betsy Braddock memories come back to the surface. She basically remembers who she is. Okay?
So her stabbing Wolverine in the head makes her remember that she's Betsy.
Yeah.
How?
That's how it works. Psychic contact. She made psychic contact with Wolverine.
Sorry. No, yeah, you did. I didn't pick up. That's on me. But yeah, obviously, if you stab someone in the head, you get memories. Obviously, go on.
Yes, so now Psylocke, who is Betsy, gets a more offensive fighting style. Basically, her body remembers all the ways and movements of a ninja assassin. She just assimilates all of those skills, essentially. She also gets much more flirtatious in this time. They go back to the X-Mansion. She tries to start a affair with Cyclops, which doesn't go over too well.
I think that's more a name thing, to be honest with you. It'd be very easy. Like Cyclops, Psylocke. I mean, I think they're a kind of a match made in heaven, really.
The old couple name there is just perfect.
Jean Grey. What the fuck are you meant to do with that?
And originally, like, it was originally meant to be that she just had plastic surgery. It was just Betsy, and it was all this, right? But then this new writer came along, and Quanon shows up in Betsy's body.
Of course he does. Because if I woke up in somebody's body, I'd be like, whose body is this?
Yeah.
Like, I should go get them.
Yeah, basically, like, the residual psychic energies healed, the dying body and all this kind of stuff.
You don't need to explain to me the residual psychic energy. She probably stabbed herself in the head. That's how she remembered.
The stickler is that Quanon thinks she's the real Betsy. Because she's in the Betsy body.
So now we have... Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Going to attempt to do this. you've got Betsy's brain in Quanon's body, looking like Cyclops, right?
Yes.
And on the other side, you have Quanon's brain in Betsy's body, but Quanon is brainwashed into thinking that she actually is Betsy.
Yes.
So you've got two Betsys, basically.
You've got two Betsys. One of them goes by Psylocke, but she looks like the ninja assassin. And then the one that looks like, say, the Captain Britain Betsy takes up the name of Revanche. However, also, they started drawing the two very similar at this point, I will say.
Surely that's the opposite.
Because the X-Men are meant to be confused about who's the real Betsy.
But if they look the same, why would you need to do the swap?
Because it's not her body. It's all different, Conor.
But if Betsy looked like Quanon, they would never have swapped her. They only swapped her.
I will say, the Marvel Wiki says, she joins the X-Men, calling herself Revanche, and it causes immense discomfort between herself and Psylocke.
Which it would. Because, what's happened here? What's going on? So,
Revanche is Quanon, but she thinks she's Betsy. Whereas Betsy looks like Quanon, but is Betsy.
Does anyone else feel like they've taken a bunch of drugs and they're just listening to this?
I'm doing my best, honestly, lads.
By the way, revenge, is that just revenge but said in a French accent?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
So, this got incredibly confusing, as you can imagine. So, what happened was, not long after she joined the team, Revanche contracted the legacy virus, Conor.
Of course.
Now, the legacy virus is a virus that affects mutants. It targets the X gene, and basically it amplifies mutant powers to the point that it kills the host, is what happens.
Right. It's just a really easy way to kill off mutants.
Exactly. So, Revanche goes back to Matsua, who was Quanon's lover. Now,
oh my God. Okay.
Revanche thinks she's Betsy, but she goes back to Matsua because he knows that he will do her a kindness and kill her before the virus can. Okay?
Right.
So, and she's still in the original Betsy Braddock Captain Britain body at this point.
Where's Brian? I want to bring Brian back.
Brian pops up every so often. He's fairly cool about the whole thing. As Revanche died, her telepathic powers reached their peak due to the infection, revealing the full truth about the body swap. So she finally realised everything that happened.
Yeah, and imagine realising that. Imagine having to actually come to terms with everything you've just said happened to these fucking two psychopaths.
It's absolutely insane. She absorbed all of her memories and personality traits from Psylocke's mind. And so now you have Betsy Braddock. Original recipe, Betsy Braddock is alive, but stuck in Quanon's body. Quanon is dead, as is Betsy's original body.
Wait.
You with me?
Yeah, yes. So Quanon is dead and Betsy's body is dead.
Yes, exactly. Now we're back to your classic mind swap scenario.
So okay, so now all we have is we got Betsy's head in Quanon's body.
Exactly. You've got classic Psylocke look, but Betsy Braddock, who was Psylocke first.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. So she's still sexy Asian assassin, but now she's Betsy Braddock in her head.
Of course.
So that's fine. Psylocke's the only one left. She goes about her life. Wolverine eventually dies, or so, for a while.
For a little bit. He probably came back.
What happens is, and then his body disappears from where it's left, basically, from its final resting place. They steal his body. And they go to Magneto to say, did you fucking do something with this? They're ambushed by a crime ring run by Viper, who showed up in The Wolverine, that movie. Viper is in that. And And then they fight a psychic vampire called Sapphire Styx, Conor. Now, Sapphire Styx can absorb souls, and
of course.
Sapphire Styx absorbs the entirety of Psylocke's soul at once.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So, leaving her body dead. However, due to her psychic powers, Conor, Betsy Braddock finds herself inside of Sapphire Styx's mind. And with a fragment of Wolverine's soul that Sapphire Styx had absorbed years earlier, Psylocke destroys Sapphire Styx from the inside, using the remaining soul power left behind to recreate her original body, molecule by molecule.
What?
So, brings herself back to life. Psylocke is now herself again, no longer looking like Quanon.
So Betsy now looks back like Betsy.
Exactly. She is back
How
looking like...
are we going to get her back to Psylocke?
Blonde, white woman Betsy. Okay.
British accent.
British everything, Conor.
British everything.
However, when she did this, Quanon also came back to life with her own mind and her own body.
What the fuck is going on?
Because you need the sexy assassin, Conor.
Right.
So, as it stands right now in Marvel Comics, Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain. Okay?
Fantastic.
Quanon, who used to go by Revanche, now is Psylocke. So they finally have the Psylocke they always wanted, which is just an Asian assassin.
But why didn't they just do that at the start?
Like, have you listened to any of this? I have no idea why they didn't do any of this at the start.
Surely just make Psylocke a different character.
Just write her you didn't have to do all of this.
Why did you
Not like it was planned.
Why did you look at all of your array of characters and be like, why don't we pick the British blonde woman to be the Asian assassin?
It's a very strange. And now Psylocke is now like one of the leaders in Krakoa, which is like the mutant. Quanon also was a mutant. She just had low-level mutant abilities. But now, because of all the fusing and fuckery that happened, they're now equal to what Betsy was in her prime.
Don't ask why, they just
all
are.
of that remains. Also, Betsy retained all of the ninja information while being Captain Britain. Even though molecule by molecule she rebuilt her own body from inside of a psychic vampire. Yeah,
well, who hasn't recreated their molecule by molecule body through a psychic vampire? Of course.
So, look, we're 32, 33 minutes in. That's basically the story of Psylocke. Now, do we want to get on to powers and abilities, Conor?
I think we just need to all take a moment. Everyone just very lightly give Seán a clap for what just happened. Because thank you very
Seán,
much.
Appreciate it.
That is one of the worst characters we've ever covered. That actually might be the worst.
It just, in terms of, it's one of the messiest storylines ever in comics.
And it's such an easy layup of a character. You just have assassin.
Yeah. All you need to do, right, is, because if you're going to bring Betsy back from the dead at some point anyway, have Quanon kill her when she's in Asia that one time. Just kill her. She fights the X-Men. They become friends. She takes on the thing of Psylocke to honour her. And eventually you bring Betsy back and have her be Captain Britain later.
Why not?
Like, nothing changes.
But we got to do mind swaps, and then the most logical thing was that she went into the brain of a psychic vampire and then rebuilt her own body.
Hell yeah, she did. I think I did okay. I did my very best.
You did very well. I think this is the worst thing we've ever done. I think not from you. I think the character is the worst thing we've ever covered on Hero
That's
Zero.
Fair. I'd like you all to remember you asked for this. Okay?
But also amazing.
Bullying me on our own Facebook page to do this.
You asked for this. If you were halfway through that report going, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, that's what happens.
Yep. So, look, powers and abilities. I mean, powerful mutant psychic, Conor.
Yeah.
Also gifted with the Captain Britain mantle across different stages of her life. So she's got telepathy, usually uses this in an aggressive manner. She's got a psychic knife, which she uses to disrupt the minds of her foes by plunging the blade into their skulls.
I would say that you wouldn't need a psychic knife to discombobulate an opponent by sticking a blade in their brain.
It would usually do it, wouldn't it?
I think a normal blade, even just like a steak knife, you stick that in someone's head, I'm going to guarantee they're going to be confused.
Also, she stopped using the psychic knife when she becomes Captain Britain, presumably because they don't want any associations with knife crime going on.
Good stuff.
Which is totally fair. She has psychic blasts, which can cause confusion, unconsciousness, or even death.
Big on confusion.
Both in a writing sense and in a fucking with people sense. She has astral projections, so she can go into the astral plane. She can mask her telepathic presence. She can create illusions. She can control minds. She can make people have amnesia. She can detect telepaths and be immune to telepaths. She can control things with telekinesis. She has a telekinetic katana, bow and arrow, and a flail. She can make a force field. She can fly. She has concussive blasts. She has dream-based precognition, so you can see the future in her dreams. Oh, Jesus. She is also immune to reality warping abilities. So she is immune to some magics and things like that. As part of being an otherworlder. She is from Otherworld, which is a magic realm.
She's the most powerful character in all of Marvel.
She is a master martial artist,
yeah.
A master telepathic combat, advanced combatant, and a trained pilot. Weaknesses.
Go on.
What they describe it as is a lack of skill. It's a skill issue.
They gave her all those powers, but she's also a bit dumb. Like, she's a bit oopsie daisy.
Well, the thing is that, like, she can blow up a mountain with her powers, but if you ask her to, like, move that egg with your mind, she'll break the egg immediately. Like,
right.
There's no fine control over it.
There is no, like, all of her powers reflect her stories. There's no control over it.
Yeah. Like, I guess she doesn't have time to get used to anything before she's transported into another Asian lady's body or something.
You'd always be worried they're going to pick a different part of the world. Like, I'm not going to be around here for long.
Oh dear. Yeah, she just doesn't go on any, like, outside missions anymore.
No, because you wouldn't even want to go, like, across the English Channel. Like, you'd be turned into a French woman within about 30 seconds.
She also, when she has a Captain Britain costume, she has superhuman strength and durability as well. That the costume.
She has all of the powers, basically.
She's all of them, basically. Like, she is insanely powerful. She's just never written consistently enough for anyone to take advantage of it.
I mean, I think she could probably beat Professor X.
Depending on the day, yeah. She can't do telekinesis and telepathy at the same time. She can't really balance it that well. So,
but you could stab him and make him float around the place at the same time.
That's true, but if they were having a telepath conversation and he just threw a bus at her, she couldn't stop it. You know?
That's true. What if she went into a dream sequence and snapped his neck?
Well, it's the only way, famously, to kill Professor X, isn't it?
It's the only way. Let's just float him up and turn him into particles.
And on the Marvel 1-7 rating system, Psylocke has an intelligence of 2, strength of 6, speed of 4, durability of 6, energy projection of 5, and fighting skills of 4. Which, pretty good across the board. Regular intelligence, I will say.
Aren't we all happy that we finally covered Psylocke? I feel like I know less.
I mean, like,
it's
just an example of how far wrong things can go. Like, to fix that took about 30 years of stories. Like, that's insane. because one guy didn't read a story. Yeah, because one guy didn't read, oh no, it was meant to be plastic surgery, and then he brought the other body back. And it's like, fuck,
Oh my
we were
God.
so close.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Sean, I think that should be one of your proudest moments that you got through this.
Man.
That it
I
resembles something. Anything.
don't think I should be proud of any of this, Conor.
But I also think that we will never do Psylocke ever again. We'll never touch on Psylocke ever again. And this will be the end of it.
I mean, when Olivia Munn showed up in X-Men Apocalypse, no one had any idea it was this complex.
I just thought, wow, that looks like a cool character with katanas or blades. That's pretty good.
Glowy pink swords. Nice.
Sean, would you like me to take us out?
Yes, please, for the love of God.
So you can rest. So we have done hundreds of comic book characters on this show. We have covered lots of DC, lots of Marvel. Most of them make a little bit more sense, I will admit. But that's not due to us. Normally you have maybe people who write comics who kind of know what they're doing, which is pretty good. We kind of cover all them. We've covered good characters, bad characters, all sorts of stuff. So if you like any character at all, go back through the catalogue. There's probably something there that you can have a listen to. We also have 2 other shows, which is Movie Mondays and Weird News Wednesday. And they come out during the week. We also have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast, with a whole bunch of extra movie reviews up there. If you want to give that a bit of a subscribe, it's basically the price of one coffee. And you get a whole bunch of extra movie reviews for all those old movies, superhero movies, that came out over the last, 30 years.
And you're paying for my therapy for having to do characters like this week on week.
One cup of coffee pays for his therapist. Very cheap therapy.
I was up till 1 in the morning trying to write this.
You can also give us a like and like on Facebook, Instagram. We're just Heroes for Hire podcast. On Twitter, we're Heroes for Hire podcast. The 4 is the number 4. It's at Heroes for Hire pod. And we also have a Detective Divilment's discussion group, which is basically a Facebook group, and we all bullied Sean into doing this report over there. So if you want to bully Sean into doing any other reports, please head on over to the group and put anyone in, and we all will bully him over and over again.
Can you just give me a week though, where I can just take just cover someone easy next time? I
think that's it. So I have been Conor Lawler.
I have been Conor Lawler in the body of Sean Meehan.
But also, does that mean I'm Sean Meehan in the body of Conor Lawler? But I'm also...
You're an Asian lady.
Oh, I've built my molecules up to be an Asian lady.
You have. You were inside a vampire at the time.
We'll see you all next week, guys.
Bye.